Hey everyone, Big Place here, and today I'm going to go over an Ashe Sejuani deck that I used earlier this format. I used it to get to Diamond 1, one of my runs, and let's just go straight into it. I'm going to go over the deck briefly, and then we're going to play a few games. The deck is pretty straightforward, but I do want to go over some combination of cards that have good success together, that if someone had never played this deck before would maybe not know, or just could be insightful in general. Alright, so first card, Brittle Steel. This is an Ashe deck, so freezing is pretty good, as we know. The reason Brittle Steel is particularly good, though, is because it only costs 1 mana. In this deck, I don't run Flash Freeze, the Ashe 3 mana Frostbite any enemy. This is a 1 mana Frostbite enemy, 3 less health. It's just a lot more mana efficient. It's really good early game against the aggressive decks. In general, it's mostly that it will do a similar job a large majority of the time, only for 1 mana, so it's very good. Second card's Elixir of Iron. Give ally +0/+2 for the round. This is mostly used to win combat trades or used to dodge kill spells like Thermogenic Beam, Mystic Shot, Get Excited, and it's a pretty straightforward card. In fact, Ashe doesn't have that much health, but in general, it's just a universal card. Depending on the format, you could run more of these or less of these, but right now 2 and 2 seems pretty well-rounded. I like having a bit more 2-ofs in this deck, even though I mostly do favor 3-ofs in the deck I build, but I'll explain why later, because it involves the card draw Goth, this Trefarian and such card, which is very important. We'll get into it later. Alright, so for 1-drop, we have Omen Hawk. These are only 1-drop. We don't really need too many 1-drops in this deck. It is a mid-range deck, so usually I like to have 6 1-drops in mid-range decks, but the other 1-drops in these classes don't really fit the theme here. Omen Hawk, this is one of the best ones, indebatably the best 1-drop in the entire game, so just overall pretty good. If you get this in your deck, you pretty much always want to if you're playing a mid-range deck, but the other ones just aren't that great. Affectionate Poro, Dragon's biggest fan. These are great cards, but in this particular deck, they're nothing crazy. Maybe Yeti Healing, but this isn't that Yeti-centric of a deck, so always Omen Hawk. So 3 Averse and Sentry. This card's interesting because it's actually, not that great of stats. And in certain aggressive metas, it can be slow because you're playing this, and then it's not really addressing the problems in the field a lot of the time. But it's really good to be able to refuel. This deck doesn't have many ways to keep up advantage except for the Trefarian Assessor and this. So it's just, I've tried versions with and without this card, and it's very important to play 3 of these to make sure that you can keep up the card advantage compared to your opponent, and you don't just run out of steam easily. 3S for Archer, this card's extremely important. There's been many implications to this card, but for now, I'll just say, I will go over this too, but for now I'll just say that it's Frostbite any enemy. That's as straightforward as it gets. It's 3/1. You can use it defensively and offensively. Defensively be like they play a creature on 2 to attack. Let's say they play, could be anything, just at 3/1, say Legion Rearguard on 2. It's 1-drop, and then you freeze it, and they don't get attacked that turn. You can use it offensively to freeze something, so then they either have to block and lose their card because there's no attack to trade with, or you get big damage in. Something that's really important with this card that I'd like to go over. Let's say many people might not know this situation, but it's very fundamental with the game of Runeterra. So I feel like in terms of Frostbite, and mostly Frostbite and sometimes spells, this is good to know. Again, I'm sure the deck profile quick, I always say that, but go over some quick things. This is kind of a fun part of the game. So let's say your opponent has a Legion Rearguard, and they also have Kindly Tavern Keeper. They have a Legion Rearguard and a Kindly Tavern Keeper. So they have a 3/1 that can't block, and a 3/3. So a lot of people and you have this card. A lot of people might be like, well, this is the better one, so you would want to freeze the Kindly Tavern Keeper because 3/3 is strong, better than 3/1, so you want to freeze it because it makes sense. It's value to freeze the strongest one, but that's not actually what you would want to do. Again, a lot of people might already know this, but you actually in this situation want to freeze the 3/1 because that puts a situation where if they want to attack, they can only attack with this. And if you attack with this, then you can block with Dice for Archer, and you will kill this instead of the 3/1. So if you block the 3/3, then they're like, oh, well, I don't mind if I lose my 3/1. I'll just attack the 3/1, and then they don't care if you trade or not. So it forces them to trade with their... You actually, a lot of times, don't freeze the stronger unit if you can block it favorably, because that means that they either don't attack or they have to lose their stronger cards. So a lot of times you're actually going to freeze the weaker unit, but it is situational. Anyways, there are things. I'll just say this now, I guess. Culling Strike and Reckoning, I'll get into those in a second, but this is kill unit with 3 less power. You can combine Icefell Archer with Culling Strike, and this can kill anything. This can kill Nautiluses. This can kill extremely buffed units that have 10 plus attack. You know, A plus attack units. Like even I'll just go down here. Captain Farron, Tusk Raider, Shoe Wonders. If you use this to make something at 0 attack, then Culling Strike, it's Frostbite. Culling Strike will kill it. Anyways, Glory Seeker. This also combos with Artful Archer because you can, and also Ashe. Because you, in general, any Frostbite, because you can just freeze the unit and then attack it, and then you get a free kill. A lot of times you'll have the Alex of Iron to protect this, because it's very easy to be destroyed. Even if you don't have a freeze, it's still a good trade, because you can just pick and choose what you trade with, so it's usually favorable trades. And then Fair Necessity is when I'm summoned, draw 1 for each 5 plus power ally you have. This is a 2-drop with 5 attack. It's pretty important, because it lets you get, if you can drop this early and then play some things and then drop this, it's just really easy to get that free extra draw just from a 2-drop being down. Anyways, Aversion Trapper, this is one of the most important cards in the whole deck, I think. I'm summoned, shuffling a Rage 8, top 3 cards of your deck. I just think having a 1 mana 5/5 is so good. Like, so good. It might sound straightforward, but a lot of people underrate it, just how good this is. Like, they'll be like, oh, it's a Yeti, but like, you know, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people just underrate how good the Yetis are. They don't treat them like they're like some crazy amazing thing. I just think a 1 mana 5/5 is amazing. Like, this card's a 3/3. It's already on, you know, has good stats for its cost. And then if at any time, the next few turns you draw this, it makes any turn harder to deal with. Like, especially playing its aggro, then they can't block a lot, or it makes up their whole attacking a lot worse, because you just get a favorable block really easily. And you can get this really early. Like, let's say you just get the turn, so it puts in the top 3 cards of your deck, it gives the next turn, then you just have a 5/5 on 4, along with whatever you were already going to do. It's really good because this works with the Assessor to draw a card, and yeah, this card's really good. Pretty straightforward. 1 mana 5/5. It's good. Culling Strike. This card's really good in this format. Kill a unit with 3 less power. You can use all kinds of things that are actually, you know, cost more than 3. Just a versatile card. You can use it on Braum. You can use it on Swain. There's Thresh. There's all kinds of stuff. But then something cool also that happens against aggro decks a lot of the time is they'll play this combo. Crimson Disciple, when I 5 damage, deal 2 to enemy Nexus. Play, deal 1 to an ally, deal 2 enemy Nexus. So that means that they'll play this on this, and if it goes through, that does 4 damage to enemy Nexus. But if you Calling Strike, Crimson Disciple in response, you don't take anything. It just kills their card and you take nothing. And it saves you 4 health. Ashe, pretty big. You know, one of the main parts of the deck, along with Sejuani, but she's amazing. One of the underrated champions. Like people say, she's like okay. I mean, I'm not saying she's the best champion ever, but I do think she's one of the better champions. She's very good. You frostbite 5+ enemies, I level up. Create a crystal arrow on top of your deck. Alright, so first look at so using the frostbite 5 enemies. First, let's look at this. This is crazy. So you attack frostbite's enemy. So she does it or one of herself. Like the 5 frostbites you need, she does some of them herself. But enemies with 0 power can't block. So it means if you freeze an enemy, or in general it has 0 power, they can't block at all. And the crystal arrow goes to the top of your deck, which levels up. Frostbite enemy and all other enemies 3 or less health, and then draw 1. So that means all the frostbite enemies can't block. But the reason this is so good is, like, let's say the game starts, you freeze something. You freeze something here. It's 2. So that's all you need to do is you get the Bright Steel or the Brittle Steel and Ice Archer. That's 2 out of 5 of the freezes. Okay. I just did 2 out of 5 of the freezes, and then you later in the game you play Ashe and you have Harsh Winds in hand. You attack with Ashe, and then you Harsh Winds 2 things. So that's 4. And attack with Ashe, and the count itself for the attack frostbite enemy, it's 5. So all you have to do is get like just 2 freezes off, the Ice Archer, Brittle Steel. And at any point in the game, if you have Ashe and Harsh Winds, you freeze their whole field and she levels up, and then they can't block. So the Harsh Wind unit can't block, the other Harsh Wind unit can't block, and the one that you just froze from this card, the Frostbite Strong enemy, can't block. So it's super easy to have these like big swings of damage, or like going for game out of nowhere. with Ashe, and even if they live, I mean, you get this card, Crystal Arrow, which is amazing. So Ashe is very good. Yeah. Fear of the North, versatile card, give an ally +4/+4. You can go try and play 3, depending on if you have space. But right now, I have a lot of 2-ofs because I feel like when you play, I guess I'll just go into now. This card is just very generic. I mean, you can kill Braum. You can just use it. It's so versatile. It'd be far-fetched to have a time where you can't really use this. You can go for game with it. You can always just threaten it, and it's hard to play around for them because it's so versatile. But Fair Assessor. Summon, draw 1 for each 5+ ally you have. This is one of the best cards in the whole deck. I think at some point in the game this card will get affected by balancing because it's just so good. But right now there's a lot of other things being played. But when this card gets more spotlight, it's so good. But Summon, draw 1 for each 5+ ally you have. That counts for the Glory Seeker, the Yetis, Ashe, Hearthguard, and Sejuani. But also things that get Omen Hawked grant the top ally of your deck +1/+1 and get Hearthguarded. Grant your whole deck +1/+1. It makes itself become a 5+ power ally. It becomes a 5/4. So it counts itself. So you can play it when it's buffed by, let's say, Omen Hawk, along with like a Yeti and a Glory Seeker. You draw 3 cards. You draw 3 cards. This is one of the only cards in the game that has a body that draws cards. There's Babbling Berserk that it's a 3/3 that adds a 5+ to your hand, but this is on a whole nother level. Another reason I like having the 2 of them, the spells, is because the cards you draw off this can be very versatile cards. So if you have a well-rounded hand with when you play this, it just feels like you can deal with most different situations compared to still having some blind spots. But it's not entirely why I run the 2 of each cards, but it is interesting. This is one of the best cards in the deck. It lets you refuel. Card advantage, it's a +3 or +2 because you don't lose a card. It's like a spell, like a draw spell, where you play the spell, but you lose the spell, but you draw cards. This is a body where you keep it the whole time, and you draw cards. Very good. Everson Hearthguard, Summon, grant allies in your deck +1/+1. Pretty straightforward, really good card. A lot of decks can't deal with this. It helps your late game. It's amazing. Harsh Winds, Frostbite 2 enemies. This card's really cool because it's burst, and it's very versatile. Again, it's hard for them to play around. It works well with the Ashe aggressively, that I said. A lot of games, I feel like your opponents are just trying to play and hoping they you don't have Harsh Winds, or they could try and win, but with Harsh Winds, it's great. Reckoning. If you have a 5+ power ally, kill all units with 4 less power. This is a really cool card because it's really good against the decks that it can get against aggro decks if it is a bit slower, but a lot of the time you can clear entire fields against certain Demacia decks. It just kind of lets you have a way to like get a big board clear. It's like an alternate win condition almost, because a lot of times this is a win condition versus things. But the cool thing is, again, with the freezes, you have the this and all the frostbites, Ice for Archer, Brittle Steel. If you use these, the cards obviously have less than 0, or they have less than 4 attack. So you can, let's say they have like, there's a lot of mana, but let's just say things are amazing, and they have like Nautilus and like a deep monster. It's like a 10/8, like Shipwreck Order. You can freeze them both and then play this, and they both die, which is pretty crazy. That you can just remove anything. It's about how strong it is. If you play this with just say you just have a Glory Seeker, right? And you play this, and they Mystic Shot the Glory Seeker. So if you have a 5+ power ally and they remove it, then this card fizzles and does nothing. So a lot of times you want to use this when you have 2 5+ allies, so they can't try and stop you as easily, like a Yeti and a Glory Seeker. And if they have Mystic Shot, then they can't clear both. So you pretty much have this rest assured when you go through. And then through Sejuani, this is just a generically good card. Give me like Frostbite, so invulnerable. It's over 5 attack, so it works with Ashe. It's removal. It's good. It's champion spell Sejuani if you're in the north, so it's very good. Overall, this card just fits perfectly. Good removal. Generically good card. But for now, let's dive into the games. But yeah, big fan of this deck. I hit Diamond 1 with it this season. I was messing around with a lot of stuff. This is my Smurf, so I'm rank 3, I think, right now. Master, so I just want to play my Smurf to play out this deck for the video. So let's go into it. Let's see what we can do. Show you guys how to mulligan and how I would play it out. This matchup spread is interesting. A lot of games are different. I feel like a lot of the hands vary, so it's hard to say. So Braum is amazing versus aggro mid-range, but particularly in this matchup, if we have Culling Strike, it could be fine. I usually don't keep Brittle Steel, but you definitely want to keep Trapper. So since this deck only has one drop or the 3 copies of Omen Hawk, you're not really able to reliably mull to try and get Omen Hawk. Sometimes you still want to if you already have everything you need. So like here we're mulling to get Omen Hawk or like Assessor if the card's so good. But you can't bank on it happening. You just kind of hope it happens. But Trappers, this is very important. This is like the 3-drop of the deck. Like this gets everything going. Again, I've talked about how I think even higher of this card than most people because I think the Yeti's underrated sometimes. So let's just keep this. This is Shinoku Wonder card. We have the combo here to freeze and kill anything, but this is probably just going to be used on Braum. Okay, this card is one of the best cards in the deck. It's like your win rate is directly correlated to seeing these cards sometimes. We'll just pass. Nothing really we have to do here. Playing flat. Okay, so here we'll play this. Get a Frostbite proc for Ashe. He won't attack anymore. We don't need to remove his stuff. Like you might as well. It's more mana efficient to not use this. You kind of want to save for something more important. Like your spells are like things you don't want to just throw away because they give you versatility. This is literally the exact scenario I was talking about earlier. So I'm very happy this is happening. He could try and stop it. You could transfusion, hit this, and put on that. Okay, perfect. Very glad this happened, so I could show you guys when you get a block. So we are down on mana because this was a 2 cost, and we used Coin Strike cost 3 to stop it, but it's still very good. The one thing though, since we did use it already, it's going to be kind of hard to beat Braum if he has it, because Braum's so good against mid-range, and we already used our Coin Strike. Okay. We can't tuck into this. This card's very good. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw it change either. I can't stress it enough. It's a very good card. We get this on 5, which means the entire rest of the game, our whole deck is +1/+1. The allies we draw are +1/+1 we get from our deck. So getting this off on 5 is so amazing because it's really early for an effect that's just that great. Probably has Fear the North. It makes me feel comfortable getting this on 5 because with the harsh winds and stuff like that, you're able to stall a lot of the time. So I don't really mind. You don't really mind. Some people think 5's kind of late-ish or like approaching the mid-late-ish game. You'll go pretty late with this deck. I've had games where I grinded out. I had a game. It was actually versus a Master of the Season where he was playing Spooky Karma, which is a deck that is an extremely late game deck that's all healing and based around level up Karma, and he had level up Karma for 15 turns, and I ended up grinding through it because this deck just can really stall all the time with harsh winds and it's a mixture of, it's just a versatile deck where it can keep them at bay with the harsh winds, but also put on a lot of pressure. So here I kind of want to do this. I don't really know what card he's going to play to get rid of this. He can play Ravenous Flock, but we do have this as well. This would clear this, but it would also clear this. I honestly don't think we have much better of a solution. We could wait it out and play this, draw a card, and probably draw a Yeti, then play this next turn, but that's a few turns without playing this. I'd rather just play this now, I believe. I think I want to get Braum out of the way, but I really can't do anything until I do that. I could just start drawing cards in passing and accumulating advantage over this, but I think this is too good to pass up right now. There's not much you can do to stop us that I'm aware of. And then this will stop Ravenous Flock. Noxian Fervor isn't enough to stop us here. If he tries to use it in a controlling manner and you do 3 damage to Braum, 3 damage to Hardcard, will still live. So as long as he can't remove this, this is gonna go through. Pretty good. Hope he doesn't have another Braum after this though. Okay, so that's gonna die. He's gonna buff it again. Alright, I honestly don't know if that was even worth it on his part, but he used 6 of his own mana, and we went even in cards. I mean, I used 6 mana and lost 2 cards, and then he lost 2 cards. But again, that was a lot of mana to buff it for 1 turn, so it lived. Might's pretty expensive. It doesn't really get the value if you don't get the overwhelm that it comes with. Okay. All right. Pretty good. Okay, it seems that this is so we're gonna have to deal with here. We don't have a way to kill that right now, but let's hope that we can get one with these. We can even draw a Culling Strike right now, especially if he doesn't have a way to buff his Braum to protect it. Okay, we drew Reckoning. This will kill the level up Braum, so that's very good. Here, I either can lose a mana, because I can only bank 3, or I can play this, even though I do plan on playing Reckoning next. Game should have passed, though. He's very low on cards from the exchange earlier. We're probably just Reckoning again. Ooh, or not. I don't really need to Reckoning, but do I do it anyway? No, this card's a big blowout. We can do this and see what he does, and then he might even commit more. And then we could just Reckoning everything. This will live from Reckoning, but he's running a card so quickly that it's just not really a big deal. We can Harsh Winds that. And go for like a pretty big swing here. I guess we'll just do that. This game's getting pretty interesting. I'm being pretty aggressive here compared to how I really had to be, but he gets to keep using these cards to stop us. Yeah, and he doesn't have many cards anyway. Like with those little cards, only 2 cards in hand, it's unlikely he can even try and really stop us. But even if he could, then I don't mind that Braum living there, because then he's down a card, and then we'll try and kill it again anyway with like Reckoning. Keep in mind, we also had another Trifarian Assessor, so that was like gonna like really make it hard for me to win, because we could just draw 3 more cards on command. So pretty much got that one in the bag. That was a smooth game. Let's try and win the next one. I'm really happy that that Demolitionist example went through, because I do think that happens somewhat commonly, playing the matchups, of course. So yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so this is going to be a lot harder matchup. We're versing Warmothers, without even Braum. So Warmothers is based around Warlord Control, 12 cost card, that says when it's activated, summon your top ally of your deck to the field, and at the beginning of every turn do that. If that happens, we're pretty screwed. The bright side is I don't think that the whole deck's healing, so we pretty much have to try and win before that. This card's so good, I almost never mulligan. I used in the past mulligan this card a lot, but because it could just cost 4. But this card is just so good, unbelievably good, that I think I want to keep it. This could be good this matchup, but I want to hit the creatures. The thing is, you don't want to run out of steam this matchup. This whole deck's going to be like healing and stuff. Like his whole deck's going to be healing and stalling. It's going to be, if he just keeps trading with us, it's easy for us to run out of steam, but this could refuel us. So we'll see what happens. That's really good. This now, since this is a 6-2, it doesn't get killed by Withering Wails and Vile Feast. I'm sure he has. So we could have this for 1, or we can hope he can't deal with this and try and attack for 7. Or he can Vile Feast this. So this is actually what we were talking about earlier when I said you want to freeze certain ones. Like, he doesn't mind this trade at all. That's why he froze the weaker one, instead of like the 6-2, which is clearly stronger. But we're going to pass, because we do want to get some value off this. If he can't clear... That's very good. I want this in this deck to try to buff our mid lane a little bit, even though his is stronger with Warmother's Call and Anivia. This will at least make ours a bit stronger when it does happen. Alright, so I'm going to get greedy here and play this and try and get a pretty good Assessor next turn. If he has Vile Feast for the Assessor, it's pretty bad for us, because it's probably Vile Feast. Yeah. Okay. A bit rough here. So we're trying. Okay, so this one does more damage, so we're gonna block here. This one also draws a card, so let's not let that happen. I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna do next turn until we see what we draw. So let's figure it out. Yeah, his late game is stronger than ours, so we kind of want to close out with Ashe and stuff while we have a chance to. When we have a chance to. I think that's how we're gonna have to win this game. So I'm gonna play this, I'm not gonna attack with this because I want to obviously draw, but it's also play around Withering Wail. But I am down to attack with this to try and draw a card. If he blocks with this, we're just getting a blocker. It's fine. I'm not sure what cards I'm thinking about. Okay, he wants to save his blockers for bigger attacks. I don't mind that trade or this trade. Second Vile Feast again. Pretty not good for us. I feel like people always have Vile Feast in Pantheist factions. But yeah, Vile Feast is very good against the Glory Seeker. Alright, so here we'll block. Honestly, I think I don't mind if I'd rather not let him draw a card. This is kind of the thing I've been doing a bit more recently. That's one less card to try and stop what we're doing. So here we'll play Trapper. No, let's play Heartbird. You can play this and then this to try and buff the Yeti on top of your deck. But I think we're just at the play this. Buff cards top of deck, then play this. Try and draw cards while we can. Okay, so we have some decent pressure here. We're drawing cards, we have good stats. We got Ashe both twice with 7-5. Let's hope we can't get Vengeance. I don't get Vengeance, get Ruination. Not really the end of the world, so we need to draw cards. And it was 9 mana, so we're not really far behind or anything. He is up 1 mana with the 8 mana, because he used Catalyst of Aeons, which gives him an extra mana than compared to us. Just a 4/4, let's play this. Now let's just try and pressure him as fast as we can. Before we can get it out of hand. So Lucky doesn't have Tryndamere, but we do have Ashe. He does. Not that that's a direct answer. Let's play the Yeti first and see what he does. Let's hope he does another Ruination. Okay. Try and push for a lot of damage here. Looking pretty rough, but we'll see what happens. A lot of Warmothers run this. I don't know how I feel about it. Some don't. It kind of feel out of place sometimes. Okay, so we can freeze this. Now when he attacks, she'll freeze this. So we can't go for game here. We can't prematurely Culling Strike this, and then try and make it so that would block this, and then that'd be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can try and do 17 damage here. If that was what we wanted to do, but that's not what we're gonna do because it's not game. Sometimes in situations like this where you're down a lot and you can tell that if the game goes on the way it's going, you're gonna lose. You gotta go for a risk and just try and go for game where you can. Okay, so pretty close. If you're here, he'd be at 3 life. Alright. So right now he can Warmother's Call. We'd be careful, but if he has a Ruination right away, which he's probably about to. Warmother's Call? Okay. This is definitely winnable if he doesn't get very good things up. So summon the top card of ally your deck now and each round start. That's unfortunate that I got buff for Hearthguard, or it's not unfortunate because it buffs everything, but the buff from the Hearthguard here makes it so we can't kill it with this. So let's draw a few cards and see what happens. So we get the Yeti that, yeah, so we draw 4. So as you can see, this card is one of the best cards in the deck. I do think at some point this card will be balanced, but right now there's, it's not really in the spotlight. We don't want him to heal, like, at all, but we don't really have a say in that matter, I suppose. We want to kill that. We just need something that has at least 4 attack. We can just use this. We're probably going to have to go for a game with an open attack. I wish we could just freeze him right now and then Culling Strike. I really don't want him healing anything, but it's not a possibility. This is very awkward. I guess we'll just do it like this then. Some versions of this deck don't run Harsh Winds, so open attacking is actually relatively safe. You can use Grass or Whale and stuff like that. But yeah, again, it'd be really nice if we could just clear this with like Brittle Steel into this or something, but we can't. So we're just gonna open attack and try and put in a lot of damage. Even if we can't clear his field right now, it's gonna get us closer and closer. Like playing Sejuani helps a little bit, I guess. It just puts at 3 and we can hook it so it can't block this. But he'd still be able to play like Ruination or a creature or like whatever he plays Sejuani, he can also just play something that makes it just as inconvenient for us to try and win. Okay. Grass there. Grass there. We can only put him at 3 again, unfortunately, but let's try and do this damage while we can. Keep chipping away with him. He doesn't have many cards left, but he has a Warmother's Call active, so he will be getting more and more free cards. So, yeah. Looking for some wishful thinking here, just hoping. I'm just making sure there's really no way to win here, but get him down to 3 again. Double Grass. It's okay. He's used some of his resources up. I don't think I want to draw a Yeti. I think I'd rather draw some spells or something, but I'll play this Yeti, and then I'll play the Omen Hawk to buff whatever we draw. So now whatever we draw next is +2/+2 from the Hearthguard and the Omen Hawk. This is getting close to leveling up. This is going to be one of the main ways we level up. Harsh Winds is kind of what we want. This is very good because, again, versatile, trying to go for game. You need to be careful with like Ruination and stuff. Alright, so here I do not want him to heal anymore. So we're going to get rid of this and play Sejuani. So now, when Ashe attacks, it'll freeze this and it can't block. So we actually win this game. Let's see what happens. So we'll trade here and then play this. So he has less blockers. And then it'll... Because this only makes the enemy vulnerable for a turn. Although I do want to Culling Strike it. He's going to heal regardless of what happens. So I think we should have to accept that he's healing. So it's the third one, right? Okay, so let's just play this. We're going to try and go for game right when we open attack next turn. And open attacking being is you don't play anything else. You just right when the round starts, you attack. We're going to get rid of this before the Frostbite wears off. And the vulnerable, because they're both for the turn. When we attack with Ashe, this won't be able to block from Ashe's effect. She's going to level up. Okay, he knows what's going to happen. So when she levels up, it'll freeze, and then it'll freeze when she attacks, and she levels up and says that zero attack units can't block, so since it's Frostbite, it can't block. Pretty straightforward. That game is awkward. After reaction, I was looking a bit weird for a bit. Wasn't sure if we were going to win or not, but again, there's the deck. I hope you guys like it, and a lot of people like Ashe decks, because Ashe came, I think, with login bonuses when you first start playing this game. She's really cool, really fun. I wish we would have let us level her up so we could show just how cool her level up looks and the power of it. But yeah, if you get the Harsh Winds and the Ashe, when you attack with them, then it makes it so that the three things that hit Frostbite, from one from her attack and then two from Harsh Winds, all can't block. And you can just swing for like potentially even just 20 plus damage if you have a big field. This card's very good too. And if she doesn't get cleared and you have this on your next attack, you can make most of their field not be able to block, so she's really awesome. I could briefly go over some cards real quick for 2 seconds of that don't play. There's this card. I wouldn't even accounting for this card, honestly. It's a good card, but it's at the expense of what do I take out of my deck. Like, you take like Elixir of Iron, but it is understated. It's really good to keep the card advantage, but lately I've been liking the this version better because this does put you a little bit behind on tempo for the turn, because again, it's understated. But definitely an option. You can put in your deck here. You can run 3 of these. You can run Tavern Keeper if you're playing a lot of burn to help you. It's a good stats and it helps you heal. But keep in mind you'd have to cut things. Again, this is probably one of the only really cuttable cards that I think in the deck could be taken out. I like everything else a lot. But yeah, that's the deck. Feel free to follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. I really appreciate the support, you guys. But I hope this video was helpful. In the comments down below, let me know if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to answer about this deck. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.